The paper trail. Let's go, 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 go. Yeah, 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 yeah. For the love of money, niggas come around. For the love of money, some stay around. For the love of money, what a nigga will do. For the love of the money, yeah. I gotta shake it, 12 at night to 5 in the morning, they don't give a fuck now. If it's for that money, niggas gon' bark and they bite like a motherfucking dog. Gotta party like a motherfucking dog. For that cat, I am gon' roof and I'm barking at that cat, and I am gon' take the roof off when I'm riding that ride. Real leaning to the left, but I'm steady on the only right. I'm swerving with a purpose, A nigga been sipping on that purple. A nigga been cheaping on that purple. Cause I'm getting money, Cause I'm getting money. And I'm laughing all the way to the motherfucking bank. And I'm telling her, tell me later if she thinking what I'm thinking. Damn me getting money. I walk about the bank and I stuck up in the wheel. Headed to my next big destination. Somewhere where I'm gonna be faded. Sipping on a motherfucking Mai feet in the fucking sand. Looking like a motherfucker.
This is what I call the Ashton Kutcher problem. Did you know that Ashton Kutcher most likely married Demi Moore out of spite because he was mad at Bruce Willis? Now, how did that happen? Well, Bruce Willis was on a film with January Jones and he was hitting on January, trying to get her set up on a date with him. And January shot him down because she was in a relationship with Ashton Kutcher at the time. Ashton Kutcher found out, of course, because January goes to her boyfriend and says, the guy I'm working with is hitting on me. Ashton loses his mind about this, gets very jealous and upset. He eventually says something to January Jones to the tune of, "You're not even a good actor, so why are you pursuing acting?" And she dumps his ass. And then he is so upset about the whole situation and Bruce Willis. And then he ends up marrying Demi Moore not long after this relationship ended. So then he has this tumultuous relationship with Demi Moore. She writes about it in her book. She says she felt like she was being abused. She was trying to get sober, and he kept saying that alcoholism basically wasn't real. And he's like exploring their relationship in different ways. She said, I think at one point, she says in her book that she felt like she was being tortured by Ashton. So they get a divorce, right? And then he ends up getting together with his co star from that '70s show, Mila Kunis, who he met when she was a teenager. So that relationship already is raising some eyebrows because people dug up some interviews from that '70s show promo where he's saying some very weird stuff. Cut to today, where we know that Demi Moore had a huge comeback with The Substance. It was a hit. Now, Ashton is coming out with basically a Substance ripoff called The Beauty that's going to be on FX. And then he's saying, "Oh, we're so proud of Demi." Like, kind of diminishing all of the famous success she has found with The Substance recently, but I digress. I also had to put it on the board that Dax Shepard basically has a career because of Ashton Kutcher, so he's to blame for that too. And it seems like even though Ashton was highly coveted as the hot it boy in the '90s and early 2000s, now that we look at his dating record, it seems like he has brought down every woman that he has been with while we've known him like in popular media, right? And on top of that, he started Thorn, which was supposed to be this great company that was helping to identify people being lost in certain types of material, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you started this initiative and you think important, then why are you connected to so many RICO cases? Like Danny Masterson and Scientology, Diddy, and that Abercrombie and Fitch RICO case. I mean, unless you're the whistleblower, which it doesn't seem that you are, what's going on with that? So overall, I think that Ashton Kutcher's career has been a net negative for pretty much everybody. Going to add a couple of names here. We're going to start with Brittany Murphy. Now, Brittany Murphy and Ashton Kutcher dated in 2002 into the early part of 2003. I believe they broke up in like January 2003. She went on to get married and have a whole life in that couple of years after they dated. And she ended up passing away in 2009 in Britney Spears' home, of all places, of pneumonia. And I believe her autopsy said there was a drug toxicity as well. So, Brittany Murphy's connection to Ashton Kutcher is questionable to the audience at large. Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy have a lot of pictures of them with Diddy, who Ashton Kutcher obviously had a close relationship with. And Diddy also has a fair amount of people around him who were very healthy who passed away because of pneumonia. So, of course, that brings into question if Ashton Kutcher was somehow involved in the passing of Brittany Murphy. But even though they remained friendly after breaking up, Brittany Murphy doesn't seemingly have anything on Ashton Kutcher. Who knows though, right? We have no idea. So why would Ashton Kutcher have any motivation to take Brittany Murphy's life later on when she's married and living in this house with her mom and her husband, who also were very questionable and weird? They would all like sleep in the bed together. But I digress. And then Britney Spears sold Brittany Murphy that house because she said there was just like a weird vibe there. I think she said it was like haunted. So there's a lot of suspicion around Brittany Murphy's passing that cannot necessarily be tied to Ashton Kutcher. But a lot of people tend to just have some questions because of the close proximity of Diddy and everything we know about Diddy now. And then another name we're going to add to the board is Ashley Ellerin, who dated Ashton Kutcher in 2001. And I mean, I say dated very loosely because Ashley met Ashton at a birthday party. And then later he asked her to go out on a date. He showed up to that first date allegedly very late at like 10:45 at night. So he shows up looks through the window, knocks on the door, nobody answers, and he sees what he thinks on the carpet is red wine. He said he met her at a party. He thought people were just partying. Someone spilled red wine. So he turned around and left. That was his testimony. Later on, they caught the person who took her life, who was a serial killer in California, Michael Gargulio. And Ashton Kutcher testified in that trial that that's what he saw. But later, during the Danny Masterson trial, one of Danny Masterson's ex girlfriends slash one of his victims came forward and said that there was a phone call the night that Ashley Ellerin passed away between Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson, basically like a fixer situation, asking, what should I do? Is this going to be bad for my image? I'm just going to leave. So, in moments after Ashley passed away, the question becomes, could he have saved her life if he had called 911? Because he clearly knew that wasn't wine on the carpet, because he called Danny Masterson to say something bad happened, basically, and was trying to get someone to help him figure out the PR spin on the situation. Allegedly, according to some hearsay, he and Danny Masterson decided it would be best if he left the scene of the crime and said it was just wine. So that's what he did, which is very suspicious. So again, we're adding to the Ashton Kutcher board, and we are left with, it is a net negative for society and Hollywood at large. His career, like, I mean, but when you look at his dating record, Ashley Ellerin, 2001, passed away. Then he moved on to date Brittany Murphy, who later passed away. Then he went on to date January Jones, who he got angry with because she was in a movie with Bruce Willis, and allegedly Bruce Willis hit on her, tried to set them up on a date, like, unknowingly. Then January Jones went to Ash and told him. Then he said, "You're not even a good actress. You should leave Hollywood." So she left him instead. And then she went on to have a child where no one knows the baby daddy. She is sisters doing it all for themselves, basically. And then he went on to marry Demi Moore, where she describes a relationship that sounds not far off from some of the testimonies we got in the Diddy trial from his exes, if we're being honest. And now he's with Mila Kunis, who he met when she was a teenager, who he made stand up for Danny Masterson, possibly jeopardizing her entire career as well. So yeah, net negative, plus the whole Dax Shepard thing. It's bad. And that's the Ashton Kutcher problem. Mike Jeffries, formerly of Abercrombie and Fitch, has gotten himself into some hot water. He just acquired some charges related to being stuck in some traffic, if you know what I mean. Um, Basically, his charges say that he was flying young male models all over the world to have casting couch situations for not only him and his partner, but also for their friends, colleagues, and other people who were in the industry in exchange for sometimes money. And he was doing this under the guise of working for Abercrombie and Fitch as a model scout. Mind you, this was the peak time of Abercrombie and Fitch. So if these models had been cast, their photos of their torso basically would be on every bag across every mall in not only America, but across the globe. So this was a huge opportunity. But this isn't even the first time that the parent company of Abercrombie and Fitch has gotten in trouble for this very thing, because Abercrombie and Fitch is owned by L Brands, and L Brands was started by Les Wexner. And for a period of time, a long period of time, Les Wexner was the billionaire funding this guy. And for a while, this guy was power of attorney for Les Wexner. Now, Les Wexner owned L Branch, also was the parent company of Victoria's Secret, Pink, and all of these stores, the Limited and Limited 2, mind you, the Limited 2, a store for teens, has just come back. Express, Bath and Body Works, Lane Bryant, Structure, which was a men's store, Henry Bendel, which was an accessory store, La Senza, which was from Canada, and Galen's, which was sold to Dick's Sporting Goods. Now, along with all of these stores, which is basically every store in the mall, Les Wexner also owned a town called New Albany, Ohio. Yes, the whole town. And who helped him while he was building that town? You guessed it, that guy. So this guy was using his power and connection to Les Wexner, and he was saying that he was a model scout for Victoria's Secret. And he was approaching young women and saying he could give them an opportunity working as a model for Victoria's Secret, possibly being in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. So he was using this as a ruse to assault young women. He would also offer young women on college campuses opportunities, like the opportunity to go stay on a billionaire's estate while they just paint and do their art or whatever. And then I'll pay for your classes, basically. So the place that he was sending some of these young women was an estate in New Albany owned by Les Wexner. So picture, if you will, you're a young woman, maybe 17, 18, 19, around that age. This billionaire is sending you off to an estate to go paint, and you go to the estate. It's huge. And even getting to the gate on foot is kind of a feat, right? And even if you get to the gate and get to that security that's owned by this guy who the power of attorney over this guy and the entire town at some times was this guy, you get through that gate and all the police are owned by Les Wexner and your captor. It sounds like a horror movie. But Les Wexner was also very charitable. He owned the Wexner Israel Fellowship Program and the Wexner Foundation. Now, the Wexner Foundation sends a lot of money to the Birthright Israel trips. So, a lot of the funding for those trips comes from the Wexner Foundation. But also, this program, the Wexner Israel Fellowship Program, was sending young soldiers and people who were like police and things like that from Israel to Harvard so that they could like learn about the world. And it was a free program funded by the Wexner Israel Fellowship Program. But there was a time that Les Wexner was fighting with this guy because this guy was mad because the soldiers would go here to Harvard and they were getting taught by liberals. So they were becoming too liberal and they wouldn't go back to fight for him. And they got into a little press war about it, but they've made up since. But if you could make it through Harvard and not get brainwashed by the liberals, then you were welcome with open arms into the Israeli government because most of them became government officials if and when they returned. So, yeah, that's what's going on at L Brands. And I think it's interesting that Les Wexner, who was in charge of these brands, oh, I forgot to even mention Ed Kazia because he's also a scumbag who did some stuff with Victoria's Secret. And one of the reasons that the Victoria's Secret fashion show ended was because of this guy, this guy, this guy, and some other stuff. It wasn't because they weren't inclusive enough. It was because of all the stuff happening behind the scenes with the women that they were telling to starve and look like kids, basically. It's weird.
Okay, so here's my conspiracy theory about Ashton Kutcher since no one really asked. So back in 2009, Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore made this initiative called Thorn. And Thorn's basically a technology company because they made a facial recognition program that can scour the internet to look through videos of a certain nature to find children that might have been missing or being trafficked. And the goal is basically to find these children and help save them or rescue them from these situations where they're being exploited, right? And Ashton has testified in front of Congress that this technology, this facial recognition program, along with law enforcement, is helping to find and rescue these children. I also kind of think it's interesting that you never really see Demi Moore's name associated with Thorn. It's always Ashton Kutcher. And there have been a lot of articles about Thorn. There's also this viral tweet that makes people think that Thorn has done a little bit more work than they have actually. There have been around 5,700 people who have been identified with this technology, but only 130 people have actually been rescued using this technology, which is still a great number. 130 people that wouldn't have been rescued without it is great, but it's not close to 6,000 people who've been rescued. So let's just get that number right. But there's a lot of numbers that don't make sense when you're talking about Thorn. But I'll have to get into their financials later. This kind of article and viral tweet combination are a way to give Ashton Kutcher and Thorn a little bit more credit than they probably deserve. Because now when you Google Ashton Kutcher, trafficking, abuse, anything that's related to that, Thorn is what comes up, not anything else. And I'm not saying that Ashton Kutcher has done anything, but I am saying that he surrounded himself for a long time with a bunch of people who are very questionable. Like if he's so worried about trafficking, he could have looked a little closer to home because he's got Danny Masterson by his side who is facing 3 decades in prison because he was drugging and assaulting women. And then you have Wilmer Valderrama, who was openly dating multiple teenagers, like over and over and over again. And Ashton can't really say he didn't notice his friend coming to set with multiple teenagers that was actually getting spots on their TV show. Like, how do you ignore that this man was a grown man dating teenagers, like one after the other? I mean, Ashton had to notice that he couldn't go out for dinner and drinks with Wilmer and a date because they were all underage. And then Ashton starts his show Punked, where he punks or pranks multiple celebrities. And let me tell you, the episode where Jonah Hill and Justin Long buy drinks for underage girls does not hold up. And Ashton says there are some episodes that didn't air at all because he destroyed them because he was intimidated by the people he was pranking in those videos. Now, wouldn't it be pretty easy to blackmail someone if you had them on video breaking the law, or if you had control over those videos being destroyed or being seen by the entire world? I don't know. Now, when you lay all that out, doesn't it just make sense that Ashton Kutcher would associate himself with a company like Thorn, where he could change the SEO on what comes up when you look up his name and abuse or underage girls? No, I'm not saying that I know of anything that Ashton Kutcher has done. I don't have evidence that he's done anything or any proof of anything. I'm just saying that I can't be the only person who has thought about this conspiracy theory. Right? I'm not.
Did you know that Ashton Kutcher was supposed to go on a date with a girl the night she was murdered?
I'm sorry.
2001, a girl named Ashley Ellerin was brutally murdered in her apartment. Ashley was a girl that Ashton Kutcher had been seeing very casually. They had to her apartment about 10 p.m. and he calls her and she's not answering. He knocks on the door, no answer at the door.
Maxwell. Jelaine, you see in this picture here, you'll see here's Jelaine Maxwell sitting there in the black t-shirt. And just above her is her sister, Christine. This is Christine here, gray and white, black jacket there. Now you may be wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Well, you know, it turns out that Christine was actually around some pretty high profile people herself. In fact, when we start looking into this, I think you may get some of those answers that you wanted about why Jelaine Maxwell was chosen to be a part of that 9/11 Shadow Commission. It's all in the family. When we look at Christine, let's look at her history a little bit here, shall we? This is a doozy. This is a doozy. Of course, you know that she's Jelaine's sister. She is also a twin, which we'll tell you about as well, because there are some spooky things that happen with them. Take a look at this. Maxwell was an editor of Pergamon Press Publishers in the early 70s. According to Tatler, Maxwell spent most of the 1970s and 1980s working for her father, which included running the West Coast office of Pergamon Press and involvement in one of his software acquisitions. Hold on to that because that's important. You got to remember Robert Maxwell, big publishing mogul. That matters when we talk about foreign policy and Jelaine Maxwell's connections as well. She was also a middle school teacher. She became a school editor for A. Wheaton and Company in Exeter, England. Maxwell is the author of Pergamon Dictionary of Perfect Spelling, first published by Pergamon Press. Let's get to the technology part. This is where things get wild. She became the first resident of the San Francisco Bay Area in 1979. In 1982, Christine Maxwell acquired Information on Demand, one of the earliest information brokers, which was later named Research on Demand. She is the creator and co-founder of Magellan, one of the first professionally curated online search reference guides to internet content. In other words, managing what you could see at that point in time for internet research. In 1992, she created and co-authored the first hard copy reference guides to the internet. New writers
Bang, bang. So we got to cut her. Could her be at the wrong spot at the wrong time with Mr. Kutcher? Yeah. Part of the same boxcar Marvelicious boy gang. Yeah, I mean, you never know which way they going. Really don't even matter which way they're going. I don't even give a fuck about their lifestyle. It's that you have brought me into your lifestyle is what I am saying. You're making me pay for that shit. Unbeknownst to me and these other folks out here. You bitch ass niggas. Yeah. I'm calling all of you motherfuckers that. Taking my money and everybody else to pay for this sadistic ass. This is the only way you got rich. No. Nobody should be letting these niggas come to the playground and let this shit slide. Nobody. And we're gonna do it in a very matriculated, educated way. Huh? But it's gonna be by our rules and regulations. You see what happened when they make the rules and regulations and laws and statutes and code? Who ends up on the wrong end of that stick? I'm telling you right now, man. Professionally, I can say that the Federal Reserve does not need to exist in this world that we live in, and we will be fine. I can say that and stand on it firmly. Without the Federal Reserve, you don't have birth certificates, you don't have Social Security, you don't have, let's say, what else came out? Income tax, federal, all of these extra dumbass tax they've put on us to say that we need to go to war, so we need to build these funds up. This just happened in 1913. They were not doing this in 1817, 16, 1500s. They making that shit up. So in 1913, you put all these different tax on us and onward. So from 1913 onward, we know what was pretty much going on from that point on. But they can make up shit right before that. Make you think that they've been selling over here, kidnapping people and shit. What? Yeah, if you don't hit yourself on the head with one of them goddamn road sticks, well, you ain't still all around this goddamn world snatching up people. And then you bring people over here on a goddamn boss car. They riding trains and through the goddamn hoods trying to get somebody to buy them. Where the fuck you get them kids from? If you were bringing fucking Africans over here, where the fuck did you get kids that look like you from? You made up your goddamn history. Motherfucker. Give me back all my goddamn tax money. With interest, you bitches. Boy. But really, ain't even mad about it though. You know, because what one can do by himself to conquer the world, not a goddamn thing. So I'm gonna roast toast these motherfuckers. Yeah. So basically, we see that these crazy ass folks have been at the forefront of the internet and its creation. Not that they can stop what we doing on it. You motherfuckers invented something, but you ain't gonna be able to stop us on it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, you know what I'm saying? No matter what you think you can do, we can undo. You know, so that's why they're steady playing this game of chase and tag, but they're at their over their 100-year peak again from 1913 to 2013 was 100 years of the Federal Reserve running. So they're a little over 100 years. They right at, like I think I said, God damn, I hate when I'm that's like what fuck 112, 13. 113, 114, 114, something, blah, 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 blah. What the fuck ever? It don't even matter. All I'm saying is these numbers add up to, okay, now we got to double this shit up. They got so much at our fingertips right now that we can find out anything. Now, this is for a reason that we can find out anything, but how much do we want to find out? Now, as we're going through these scenes that they're creating right now in modern day, because we're getting all this stuff off the internet, everybody is, no matter what news comes out, you know. And I respect everybody putting all that work in right now, no matter what news comes out on any of this JE huddle up that's been going on for years, because again, this guy went to jail for this shit way early in the 2000s. Yeah, there's files about him in the 90s doing this shit also, so this ain't nothing new. What I'm saying is, JE is out here walking around. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. So again, we got 2 fake deaths. I don't give a fuck. We got 2 fake deaths so far. Because Assange's Lane is in prison for 20 years. So I'm gonna call that a fake death. And she ain't due to get out because she got 90 pages of documents being held over the president's head. Fuck all that. I don't believe none of that shit. All you motherfuckers on the same team. I told you ain't no red or no blue. Fuck both of them pills. Bitch, I'll kick them pills out your hand. Put them back in your pocket. Bang, bang.
In other words, managing what you could see at that point in time for internet research. In 1992, she created and co-authored the first hard copy reference guides to the internet, New Writers, official internet yellow pages, and the McKinley Internet Yellow Pages, both published by Macmillan Publishers. Check this out. After Magellan, I'll highlight this part. After Magellan was acquired by competing search engine Excite in 1996, she co-founded Chiliad, a software company involved in the advance of on-demand, massively scalable, intelligent mining of structured and unstructured data through the use of natural language search technologies. I'll tell you what Chiliad was about in just a second. The firm's software was behind the data search technology used by the FBI's counterterrorism data warehouse. As of August 2019, Maxwell served as the board director of Chiliad. So Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, Christine, started this company called Chiliad, and Chiliad basically worked with the FBI for counterterrorism data. We'll come back to that part. We'll show you Chiliad right here. Like, this is wild, you guys. Let me make this bigger. I wish I could get rid of this window here, but I guess I can't. So Chiliad, the company that solved the 9/11 connecting the dots problem. Like, this is wild, you guys, right? So let's go on here. Chiliad's founders were influenced by the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster and the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Now, let's all remember again, Ghislaine Maxwell was invited to be a part of that 9/11 Shadow Commission. And I said, out of all the people in the world, you got diplomats, you got other politicians, why would they invite Ghislaine Maxwell, someone who's a socialite? Now I think we may have that answer. Investigations into both events concluded that information stored in incompatible databases and documents maintained by different departments and organizations could have allowed managers and officials to prevent those disasters. But there simply was no existing technology to connect the dots across so many incompatible systems and organizations. Efforts to solve this problem hastened development efforts within Chiliad and drove the first deployment of Chiliad software within the US intelligence community to create a virtual knowledge environment across distributed information, stovepipes, databases, and applications. Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, Christine, started a software application that was connected to US intelligence. And keep in mind, she immigrated here. This family, it's all in the family. It's not just Ghislaine Maxwell. It's not just her dad, Robert Maxwell. They've been connected. Now, when we go on a little bit more here, I want you to see this. Both the FBI and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the lead unique value Chiliad offers and have deployed the company's software to tame the mountains of data that must be sifted and analyzed.
Basically, huh? Basically, huh? The whole family diabolical, huh? Huh? Thought it was just one of them. No, she got a twin. The fuck was the twin doing the whole time she out here playing on the playground with the alphabet boys, huh? Huh? Now, mind you, tied in with the money. You know these people ain't really Maxwell's, right? You know they changed their name and shit, huh? Should we be calling these people immigrants or, at this point, SPY? Huh? Huh? No rules if money the law. No rules if money the law. Not one. Not nairn. Not nairn. Huh. Real time above the law type shit. Hmm? Tell you right now, it ain't if you got a plan, goddammit. The WE shall come into play. The WE shall come into play. It ain't about if you got a plan, goddammit. Yeah. They had a plan. They had a plan to do what they're doing now. Create some money that everybody uses to voila, make themselves rich. Buy up all the motherfucking property. Even the shit that you can't even buy. Like America. You can't buy land in America. Why didn't you guys come over here in the 1700s with all these people? Huh? Why we get the stories of you guys actually coming over here 1800s? Huh? Willingly. Huh? And what's going on in the 1800s? Barks, car, kids, all over the goddamn place. We didn't get a birth certificate in this legal United States system until 1933? Didn't really take place and take hold until like 1942. 1942 is when the 1790 census through the 1870 census actually dropped. 1942, same time, around the same time, you got a group of writers, the Federal Writers Project, creating these slave narratives and shit, Then you go back to Woodrow Wilson and his fucking crazy ass face ass boy. That's probably Yakub Senior face ass boy. That boy got hit with that ugliest. That boy, hey, shout out. Yeah. Boy, I'm going to roast up. God, these folk right there. Boy, you been stealing. Boy, you we out here fighting each other and these people stealing your money before you get your money. Huh? You fighting the wrong motherfuckers, huh? Yeah. No rules if money the law. Yeah. Now, if you following rules right now, you ain't got the goddamn money. Shut the fuck up and stand the fuck up. We got shit to do tomorrow. Bang, bang.
She immigrated here. This family, it's all in the family. It's not just Ghislaine Maxwell. It's not just her dad, Robert Maxwell. They've been connected. Now, when we go on a little bit more here, I want you to see this. Both the FBI and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the lead U.S. agencies in the war on terrorism, have seen the unique value Chiliad offers and have deployed the company's software to tame the mountains of data that must be sifted and analyzed to accomplish their mission. Tupacalypse says Whitney Webb is like, I told y'all. You see, this whole Epstein thing, I said, it's not just about the trafficking. It goes so much deeper than that. So you got a sister that's connected to U.S. intelligence. You got a father that's connected to the Mossad. And you just happen to be connected to a boyfriend that you have that's trafficking people, and you're helping them traffic people. Why would they ever go after her? She ended up being later on just the fall guy, Ghislaine Maxwell there, but not the head of the snake, of course. You see, it all goes back again to this document that kind of stunned everybody. I covered this, I think it was about a week ago we covered this story. Thanks to the invite, unfortunately, I cannot be on the Shadow Commission. This was coming from Ed Epstein, different Epstein, asking her, Ghislaine Maxwell, if she was interested in being a part of the Shadow Commission on 9/11. Do you see how deep this goes with this family and this upper crust society? So why would people come after the head of the snake? Why would they actually stop this trafficking, this criminal enterprise? If you have connections to intelligence, remember we reported that there was an NYPD officer / detective that was also listed as a co-conspirator. So you got the NYPD in your back pocket. You have the FBI intelligence in your back pocket. There was no way they were ever going to try to stop this criminal enterprise. But it gets crazier. It's not just about the intelligence connection. Something else happened, and we're gonna check it ourselves just to make sure I am not seeing things. This guy posted this video about Christine, and he talked about her connection to a fellowship that she has, which all of a sudden is no longer on that website. Watch this.
Elaine Maxwell has 8 siblings? Well, I just learned some wild things about this sibling, Christine Max, from her very own bio on the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Politics, because of course the Maxwell family is involved in shaping global anti-Semitism policy. But anywho, I bet you didn't know that Christine Maxwell has career experience in school book editing. Read it for yourself. Christine Maxwell is a professional lifelong learner with career experiences in grade school teaching and school book editing.
Why? And I ain't talking Jadakiss. Why? 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 We already know the answer to it. Why are you editing Joseph Scaliger chronology? Educate educational books. Educational books. Why are you why are you educating us with your pencil and pen? Hmm? Why are these immigrants coming here and writing our past that we're now calling our history? You can't do it no more. I bet you I'm unplugging all the motherfucking lights in this house, bitch. I'm cutting the goddamn I'm gonna cut the goddamn Georgia power cord going to the house. Think it's a game. Bitch. I told you I got shit to do tomorrow. You already robbing me. You done robbed me. You done robbed us for millions a day. A day. Not like over like time. I'm talking about millions a motherfucking day. What are you guys talking about? Trillions a day. What are you guys talking about? We're paying for the world, Craig, with your motherfucking tax dollar. Think it's a motherfucking game. Huh? It ain't about waking up. It ain't even about waking up. It's about standing the fuck up. The Federal Reserve gotta go. We can do the same shit. So you mean to tell me you wouldn't clock in who was coming in before a birth certificate? But I thought y'all had census. Oh, I forgot. Y'all rewrote all the censuses from 1932 through 1942. Y'all was in there writing the census up off the original documents that you guys so-called burnt down everything. Yeah. We know you didn't burn it down. We know you had some original documents. We know that in order for us to see the census that we see now that you wrote from 1932 to 1942, the 1790 through the 1870 census, you hired all these immigrants to come in and do this slave narrative research, this artistic program, just like your boy, big headed Yakub SJE, Marvelicious Boxcar Kid Gang. Boy, if y'all stop playing my goddamn money. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you done pulled the wool over our eyes one too many times. Let's we on your goddamn neck, Jay. Yeah. I'm gonna need $100 million, bitch. Starting now. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Bang, bang.
What did I tell you? Now, here's the wild part. When we go to this website, and you let me know if I'm seeing things, the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. Okay. Well, let's go to the fellows because she was a fellow. If you look at her LinkedIn page, which is here, Christine Maxwell, PhD. And if you scroll down, let's see right about here. In fact, it's the most recent experience from November 2021 to present, unless she did not update this. But to present, it says that she was a research fellow at the Institute for Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. It also says self-employed, right? So explain to me why now, when I look at this site and I go to the research fellows, they're in alphabetical order, so you can follow me here on the right panel. When we scroll down, let's get to the M's. There's some M's in this house. There's some M's in this house. Right here. Okay. I don't know about you, but I don't see Christine Maxwell. All of a sudden, and we can do the search. We can search here just to double check, just to make sure I am not seeing things. So I search right here at the bottom, Christine Maxwell. Nothing. What if I just search Maxwell? We see Miriam F. Elman, which says Maxwell School of Citizenship. But all of a sudden, she's gone. And again, on her link, research fellow, ISGAP. I go back, ISGAP, the research fellows. All of a sudden, her name and her picture is gone. So I don't know what's going on. Measurement said, remember what Candace said, that they make slow, small changes until they erase themselves to do it all at once, create suspicion. It's just gone. So I'm going to go back to his video. Are we all looking at the same thing? Yeah.
What are you doing editing school books, Christine? And oh, we are just getting started. She also has experience as the director of research.
Oh, look at this. Some part of this I can't play because I know how YouTube is. So we're just going to fast forward a little bit here. But look at this. Where is this profile? It is no longer there. Christine Maxwell, 2022 Research Fellow. Again, I'm going to go back. Christine is not here. I don't know. So I'm going to go to the search bar here. We'll try it again. Let's see what comes up. First thing says certificate program in critical contemporary anti-Semitism studies. Let's click on this and see. Do we see Christine's name here? I mean, it's just wild to me. Search right here. Setting precedents, by not following protocol by Dr. Christine Maxwell, spring of 2025. So you do have a piece of literature here from Dr. Christine Maxwell, but that still doesn't explain why her profile is just all of a sudden gone. Funny how that happens. But it gets crazier than that. She has a twin sister, family, but check this out. This was reported back in 2019. Ghislaine Maxwell's twin sisters have their own wild stories. Can't believe I had never seen this before until now. So let's get into Christine and Isabel. They're twinnies. Christine and Isabel had more freedom to strike out on their own. After the demise of the Maxwell Empire in the 1980s, they decamped to Silicon Valley. And in 1993, they helped co-found Magellan. We were talking about that earlier. Goes on to say here, Magellan was an early search engine. Remember that. With Isabel's then husband, David Hayden. According to the Daily Beast, the sisters appear in Michael Wolff's book on .com startups, Burn Rate. Wolff describes Christine as more commanding than her sister. But both Maxwells are memorable characters, early Winklevoss prototypes. In a 1997 interview, Isabel credits her sister with coming up with the idea of reviewing and rating. Check this part out. The twins made millions when Magellan was sold to another company, Excite, but according to Isabel, it cooled the relationship between the two of them. When McKinley, Magellan's parent company, didn't make it, our relationship changed. This is what Isabel said in 2002. And I changed in terms of my relationship with my family. Before then, I was completely in sync with the family. When something got to them, it got to me too. Now, let's get into the part about the hubs. Both sisters seem to have remained in the software and technology spheres. Christine is a doctoral candidate in the humanities department at the University of Texas at Dallas and continues to consult for internet companies. Her UTD website lists a personal website, christinesworld.com, which is no longer active, but it does have a brief personal statement that she came to the university in January 2012 and is enjoying academia and the associated activities of big city life very much. It's much different than the French countryside where I was working on my own internet content projects. After Magellan, Isabel was the president of an Israeli email venture called ComTouch and has continued to work in the country. So we have both sisters, the twins, having their hands in Israeli business. Let's continue on here. She has used the title Technology Pioneer of the World Economic Forum. In a 2000 interview, she displays Zuckerbergian enthusiasm for the internet. The wonderful thing about email is it's not sexist. Check out what happened to the husbands. The Maxwell twins' husbands have truly bizarre histories, which has led observers to point out that they share Ghislaine's association with powerful, unconventional men. Christine is married to Roger Molina, an astrophysicist at the University of Texas, whose father, Frank Molina, was also a scientist. Molina, the Daily Beast reveals, hung out in California with the likes of Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard and rocket engineer Jack Parsons, occultists and transhumanists, a strange echo of Jeffrey Epstein's friends in similar academic and business circles. So Christine, like Ghislaine, seemed to hang out with people that were a part of the occult and people that were
Bang, 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 bang. This is where your boy Kutcher comes in the picture at. Boy, what you out there doing, man, with them Scientology folk? You and your little, you and your little, you and your little bike peddler bestie, huh? Huh? What you doing, player? What you doing out here, player? You tied in like the mob, huh? Mob licious, boxcar, boy gang, boy. If y'all don't stop playing my goddamn mucho dinero, look here. Up front, up front, up front, up front. Boy, you had me out here literally slaving to pay you to go out here. But they was taking when did you say they started doing this tax automatically out of our check? Like 1942 also. Again, I keep telling you, this 1942, when the census first dropped, these slave narratives, y'all, y'all ain't paying attention. Oh yeah, because you gotta pay. You gotta pay. We gotta stop paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Again. How do we want to live? How do we the people want to live then? If we the people, or are you a subject? Since you using educational backgrounds, are you the subject in this social construct lifestyle? This stage play? Are you a thespian? OFR out there, face ass, y'all cool head ass boy. Yeah. On some old stage play type shit, you know what I mean? This is what's taking place here. Are you a subject? Or are we the people? Because look, look, it's way deeper than what they keep on trying to throw out there. This ain't about no adolescent nonsense. There's nothing but these people are in control of your finance, crypto, AI, etc., etc., etc. Yo, you know who got arrested? You you know who did get arrested though? Bang bang. That's nobody in silent treatment. Not nairn body. Nairn body. Not nairn one of them. Nairn one of them. Not nairn. Not nairn one of them jokers. Nairn one of these clown jokers. Literally. Moblicious boxcar. Yeah, no foundation having ass. What I'm really what I'm really perturbed about it though is that these guys have had the pen to our past, calling it our history. These newly immigrated people just got here. Were in charge of looking at the census data. That's what prompted those guys to go out and get slave stories. They wanted to take your land. They switched up the story. So why would you hire all these writers when you just got the census? Hmm? You want to create the narrative. You need things to be put in play. They didn't start automatically taking this Federal Reserve tax out of your goddamn workers' pay until 1942. Like, talk to me. Talk to me. Yeah. Okay. You don't want it's our money anyway, so what you gonna take it before? Because y'all don't want to pay every year. Y'all causing us, man. We want that money now, Craig. Look here, bitch. How you gonna get us money and rob me to get it back? Wait a minute. I ain't signed up for this, bitch. It's in the law. Okay. No rules of money to law is what you're telling me. Okay. These are not metaphors. Bang bang. Now that's an onomatopoeia though. Bang bang.
Humanists. It's all. I'm not even going to get into the. Wait till you hear what happened to Isabel's husband, and let me know if this sounds familiar to you. Isabel's romantic history might be the strangest. First, she married the son of Carl Gerasi, a scientist who invented the. So a scientist, Melina, the Daily Beast reveals, hung out in California with the likes of Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard and rocket engineer Jack Parsons, occultists and transhumanists, a strange echo of Jeffrey Epstein's friends in similar academic and business circles. So Christine, like Jelaine, seemed to hang out with people that were a part of the occults and people that were transhumanists. It's all in the family. And wait till you hear, I'm not even going to get into the Scientology part because it's some creepy things about Scientology. I think I need a whole separate episode on that. Wait till you hear what happened to Isabel's husband. And let me know if this sounds familiar to you. Isabel's romantic history might be the strangest. First, she married the son of Carl Gerasi, a scientist who invented the birth control pill. Her third husband, Al Seckel, was a con man and an optical illusionist who befriended scientists and academics despite having a degree in those fields himself. Does this sound familiar? Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, Isabel, who is the twin of Christine, married a guy named Al Seckel who engaged with scientists and academics and was a con man. Sounds like Jeffrey Epstein, doesn't it? Crazier things have happened, though. It goes on to say he co-founded a group called the Southern California Skeptics that investigated scientists' relationship to the paranormal. Seckle and Isabel moved to France around 2010. Listen to how he died. They lived in a chateau and acquired thousands of Stone Age tools to sell in the US. That same year, Seckle hosted a scientific conference on Jeffrey Epstein's private island, where Epstein also allegedly held underage girls for sex. Presumably, the connection was Isabel's little sister, Ghislaine. Seckle died in 2015 from a rumored fall off of a cliff.
No rules of money the law. Huh? Huh? Mob tied in. I do want you to know that Maxwell ain't give Epstein power. This, 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 this Wexy Wexner. These characters didn't give Epstein his power. Epstein is running the government. Epstein is not getting that power from a fucking designer. Yeah. He's the designer did not give, and you notice, big headed Yakub bad boy was not no motherfucking financial advisor. Show me the financial rundown on any company that he was a financial advisor for. Hmm? Hmm? Show me the book where he wrote finances down. You mother, if you don't stop this financial, he was a financial advisor. Said, oh, I got to, I know. Yeah, bitch, if you don't stop that line, boy. I mean, we so on to you, knuckle-headed motherfucker, y'all cool-headed ass boy. We so on you. We so on to this goddamn circle game y'all been playing. Hmm? Yeah. Look this way. Voila. Now you see me? Now you don't. That was that movie, remember, with Morgan Freeman, right? Now you see me, now you don't. Hmm. She got sisters with trends. You got Mr. Maxwell, who ain't even Maxwell. The motherfucker changed his name and shit. He was fighting in these different wars and shit. Wanted to change his name. It ain't even his real Max. Boy, you ain't no goddamn Maxwell. This nigga's not originally. This nigga's not really from Atlanta. This nigga's not even from America. No, but he got his daughter up in this motherfucker, writing your motherfucking history fresh off the motherfucking boat. How you get a pen and paper to be able to tell me what happened in month past over here, bitch? Mm. Yo, this is what's going down, though. He who makes the rule must have the money. Niggas out here ain't making the rules if they ain't got that money. I mean, check it. Okay, how are you making the rules with no money? That ain't even power. Because you should be making money if you're able to, like, send people this, that, and the third. You know, and you should be the one at the top of the gang if you're able to rule people through word of mouth. Come on. I'm still saying like that Most High. Now, what's this dude? The highest. Yo. The highest up in that motherfucking Ruthless show. The highest. I'm telling you, man, they put some dope in our food or something. What the fuck we so fucking docile to what the fuck is going on? look, look. Straight comedy, no laughs. All jokes, but they ain't. On some real shit. Deal with it. Now, why is these people out here playing in the space playground as well? Hmm? The fuck you doing over there at the space playground? Hmm? You over here writing other people's history that you don't need to be writing. Why are you dealing with school books? Huh? And you came from a background where you had 8 siblings. Huh? Wait, why are we only talking about three of you mofos? Where the rest of you diabolical, sadistic, crazy ass, insane motherfuckers at? Why are we only getting a rundown of a few of you bitches? This circle been ongoing for a minute, I see. Hmm. Yeah. But it's all recent. It's all recent. You motherfuckers ain't got no background. Stop playing with me. Talking about you doing a DNA research program and shit, trying to send out all these DNA kits. Boy, if you don't stop playing with us, what the fuck were you looking for? Is what I'm trying to. Wait, what were you looking for? Hmm? I think he was doing that. I think he was doing the DNA kit to see who's the father of all these kids that they've impregnated throughout the world. I really think that DNA project was for that. That's why that was his foundation to the whole spit kit. That was they were already doing that. Remember the guy way before that, the motherfucker that bought the island too, the crazy, insane, sick motherfucker only really wanted dark skinned women. You know that cat. Yeah, the stem cell motherfucker talking about I'll buy your eggs, bitch. Let me buy your eggs, bitch. I ain't talking about the one you scramble. I'm talking about the ones I can inject into me from you. Boy, if you don't get your, how much you paying for, huh? That is what must have happened. And again, this figure ass motherfucker was doing fashion too. Now, mind you, I do have that background. I've been back there in the backyard of that shit. Yo, so I know all this fashion arena. It can go crazy, but you're not gonna have more power than Epstein because you gave him a few hundred mil, Wexy Wex. No, Jughead already had a foundation, bro. Now y'all come from the same background. Y'all probably spawned into different things, but that nigga was the president of what the fuck ever was going on at the time. Not Wexy Wex. No, that nigga, Jughead Yakub, he's over something. That's why he cannot be unalived. Yeah, they can play these games all you want to. I don't give now. That motherfucker need garlic and a steak. And mind you, motherfucker, I ain't talking beef.
Near his home, not unlike Robert Maxwell, Jelaine and Isabel and Christine's daddy. That same year, Seckle hosted a scientific conference on Jeffrey Epstein's private island, where Epstein also allegedly held underage girls for sex. Presumably, the connection was Isabel's little sister, Jelaine. Seckle died in 2015 from a rumored fall off of a cliff near his home, not unlike Robert Maxwell, Jelaine and Isabel and Christine's daddy. Seckle died just a few weeks after an article in Tablet magazine exposed his fraudulent past, hidden in plain sight. That article was in 2019. His home, not unlike Robert Maxwell, Jelaine and Isabel and Christine's daddy. Sekel died just a few weeks after an article in Tablet magazine exposed his fraudulent past and his mounting debts. Hidden in plain sight. That article was in 2019. I just found out about it. It's also interesting too when you see here, someone even questioned Grok about this. Grok is an AI tool on X, formerly Twitter. Yes, Ghislaine Maxwell has siblings with U.S. intel ties. Christine Maxwell co-founded Chiliad, providing data mining software to the FBI counterterrorism warehouse post 9/11, enabling searches across agencies like the CIA and the NSA. Isabel Maxwell led Israeli firms ComTouch and Incognito with board roles at Perez Center for Peace and Israel Venture Network. Ties to Israel, Isabel roles in Israeli tech and security. Family patriarch Robert Maxwell allegedly worked for Mossad. So when you see this picture, which everybody has been talking about, and if something looks off to you, because this is the picture of Ghislaine Maxwell that many people are familiar with. We know it's a couple years ago. We get it. And this is the image of Ghislaine Maxwell in prison. Now, I want to know, how did Ghislaine Maxwell's nose go from this to that? How did her nose all of a sudden get shorter? Is Ghislaine Maxwell having plastic surgery in prison? Yeah, I know she has glasses on. I know she's older now. I totally get it. But how does your nose change like that? The eyes don't look the same. So many people have been questioning this, and honestly, they have a right to do so. That don't look like the same person to me, boo. And now you see that she had two sisters that were connected to intelligence, one Israel intelligence, the other one FBI intelligence right here. And you need to ask yourself if that was really Ghislaine in that prison. Because when people would say this years ago, I would call them spooks or like crazies. I was like, these people are crazy. They're nut jobs to think this way. After everything that I've seen over the years, especially with